What's up, everybody? Liv here. Welcome back to the channel and thank you for watching. So listen, you guys know a while back I told you that I was part of CZ Ambassador Program. So this is pretty much the very last video of that program. So I would like to thank CZ for sponsoring this video. I have about 5 firearms here, 2 of which CZ sent me. The others I bought on my own dime. But thank you, CZ, for sending these firearms over. And listen, if you haven't already, please like and share if you care, subscribe, and we're going to get into this video. So today we're talking about 3 reasons why I would not use a competition firearm for home defense. Number 1, I believe the trigger is too light. Now, I definitely believe that if you're using a single action firearm. Again, all these firearms are unloaded. I just did another video prior to recording this one, and they're all unloaded, okay? This is the CZ P10F comp. And this trigger is very nice. It's also very light. Okay? I wouldn't feel comfortable using that. But if I'm using a competition firearm, chances are it's going to be a double action, single action. Okay, it's going to be a hammer fired gun. Now, some may argue, well, Liv, just keep it in double action. I mean, I could, right? I could keep it in double action, but I feel like even with this one, it's really not a lot of stacking. This firearm is smooth. This is the CZ SP01 Shadow. This is custom made, okay? This is really not off the assembly line. This is custom made. This is really, really nice. But I still feel like the trigger is too light. All right, we're going to get into single action, and that trigger, forget about it, okay? Oops. All right, super light. So I would just feel uncomfortable doing that. Again, an argument could be made for keeping it in double action, but I feel a little leery about that. When it comes to the striker fire, absolutely not. I still think that because of striker fire, there is no double action, single action option. It's the same consistent pull, shot after shot, and because the trigger is so light, I just couldn't get down with that, all right? So that's my number 1 reason why I would not use a competition firearm for home defense. Number 2, I think that the gun can be too heavy. So I have the Shadow 2, okay? I have the Shadow 2 Orange. I have the one I just showed you, the SP01 Shadow. I showed you the CZ P10F, and I also have the CZ75. This is the flagship model, okay? For the most part, all of them are metal except for the polymer CZ P10F. But they're heavy, okay? This is probably the lightest of them all, the CZ75. This is about 35 ounces. I believe the Shadow and the Shadow 2 are like 46 ounces a piece. Those are heavy firearms, right? Now, during the day, it's perfectly fine. But at night, let's just say you got awakened out of your sleep at night, picking up a heavy firearm like that, listen, we're drowsy, right? We get up, we're like, ugh, what's going on? We don't know what's going on. We're like, what is that noise? And then we go pick up a heavy firearm. May not be the best option, okay? Now, if you have something like, let's just say, again, competition firearm like this is not as heavy, okay? But again, it's not as heavy, but still the trigger is too light. So I still wouldn't be comfortable using it, but I definitely wouldn't be comfortable using it if it's so heavy that I don't feel like I can control it. You know, in the morning, we're a little weak, or in the middle of the night, you know, some of us got to stretch before we get out the bed to use the bathroom. Listen, we getting old, we getting up in age. So I wouldn't feel too comfortable with it. It's not It's not a deal breaker, but I really wouldn't want a heavy firearm. I would like a polymer or maybe alloy frame if I were to keep it on my nightstand, okay? So majority of competition firearms, especially in the CZ lineup, they are heavier, and they're heavier for a reason, because you want to suck up some of that recoil. You want to mitigate some of that recoil and all of that hard vibration back and forth when you're shooting. And so having a longer barrel, having the gun be a little heavier, having that slide right inside the frame, it's going to mitigate a lot of that recoil, but on the flip side of it, it's going to be a little heavier. All right, next, the sights. Most competition firearms have a fiber optic front sight, okay? All of these firearms have a fiber optic front sight, okay? It's just what it is. I love it. I like a blacked out rear and a fiber optic front sight. However, at night, these are not really ideal. You want something that has tritium in it. You want to be able to set your front sight on your target. And if you have a fiber optic front sight, it doesn't really shine at night or in low dark settings or in settings where there is no light. So you have no idea where your front sight is if you have to get up in a low light setting or in complete darkness to find out what's going on in your home, to find out if you are in danger. And so it's not really safe to have that type of sighting system on your firearm. I would want something with some tritium in it. You know, people use night sights or what have you. That's fine, but you need to see where you're aiming. And so because of that, you have, you can't really see. And of course, if you can't see, then you shouldn't be pulling the trigger. And so I believe that fiber optic front sights and a blacked out rear is not ideal for home defense. And because that type of sighting system comes on competition firearms, that is another reason why I would not use them for home defense. So again, listen, the trigger, okay, the weight and the sights on competition firearms is just not ideal for home defense, in my opinion. Of course, there are pros and cons to what I am saying. And if you have pros and cons, go ahead and put them in the comments. You know, we can get it popping down there. But that's my personal opinion. But let me know what you think. And that's it and that's all. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you're doing well, treating one another with kindness. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.